You get Genghis Khan, the man who didn't just defeat his enemies, he creatively erased them from history. Have you ever been so angry that you wiped out an entire city? Well, Genghis Khan did, and trust me, it wasn't just anger, it was nuclear-level rage. Let's rewind to the year 1221 in the city of Nishapur, Persia. The Mongols were on a roll, steamrolling through Asia faster than a TikTok trend. Now, Genghis wasn't even there. He had left his trusted general, Tokuchar, who also happened to be his son-in-law, in charge. Everything was going fine until the people of Nishapur decided to revolt. And in the chaos, boom! Tokuchar, dead. Big mistake. When the great Khan found out, he didn't just get mad, he got biblically vengeful. He sent his other general, Subutai, with one instruction. Erase Nishapur. I want dust, and make it personal. And oh boy, did they make it personal. They didn't just kill the army, they killed everyone. Men, women, children, cats. Okay, maybe not the cats, but you get it. According to some historians, 1.7 million people were massacred. Yup, that's more than the population of some countries today. Gone. But here's the extra spicy part. They captured the nobles, the ones behind the revolt, and poured molten metal down their throats. You know, just in case they had any final thoughts to share. Excuse me, sir, may I... This wasn't just punishment, this was a statement. Mess with the Khan's family, you get a front row seat to hell with VIP service. So the next time your in-laws annoy you, just be thankful you're not Genghis Khan, because history shows he took revenge to a whole new level. Do you think your city had a bad day? Well, let me introduce you to Merv, a wealthy, powerful, peaceful city. Until Genghis Khan showed up, and then things got really wet with blood. Back in the 13th century, Merv was one of the largest cities in the world, full of scholars, poets, engineers, libraries, beautiful gardens, and, oops, a very unfortunate strategic location. Because in 1221, Genghis Khan sent his son, Tolui, to pay Merv a visit. And by visit, I mean siege, deception, and total annihilation. Mongol style. The poor people of Merv actually surrendered peacefully. They opened the gates. Welcome, please don't murder us. Tolui smiled and said, Of course not. Then he took their leaders hostage, separated the population into neat little groups like a very dark version of social sorting. Craftsmen? Maybe useful. Scholars? We'll see. The rest? Let's call them fertilizer. Then came the most Mongol solution ever. The population, some say 700,000 to over 1 million people, was systematically executed. So many bodies were dumped into Merv's irrigation canals that the water turned red. The canals ran with bloody soup for days. Farms downstreams were probably like, Honey, why are the tomatoes growing so violently? Now here is the twist. The few people Tolui spared, he took them away to be slave engineers for the Mongol Empire. So, if you were too smart, you got kidnapped. Too average, you got chopped. Moral of the story? Never be located between Genghis Khan and where he wants to go. And remember, if your city's irrigation system ever runs red, just hope it's because someone spilled wine, not an entire population. Quick question. How do you decorate a conquered city when you're Genghis Khan? Forget flowers, forget fireworks. You build a pyramid of skulls. Yeah, you heard that right. Let's rewind to the year 1220. Samarkand, a jewel of Central Asia, a bustling, beautiful city full of culture, scholars, traders, and really bad decision making. Because when Genghis Khan came knocking, what did they do? They resisted. Big mistake. The city had thick walls, strong warriors, even war elephants. But Genghis Khan had something better: tactics, speed, and rage-fueled efficiency. He surrounded Samarkand, cut off supplies, and sent in wave after wave of horsemen. Within days, the city surrendered. And that's when the party started, but not the fun kind. Genghis wanted to send a message, not just to Samarkand, but to every city on his hit list. Obey me or become architecture. He ordered the mass beheading of all captured soldiers and resistors, and then let the world's most terrifying interior decorator, he had their skulls stacked into massive pyramids outside the city gates. No TikTok, no drone shots, just thousands of bleached white skulls baking in the desert sun, screaming silently, "Guess who was here?" And guess what? It worked. Other cities heard the story and surrendered without a fight. So next time you're redecorating, maybe skip the skulls, unless you're trying to terrify a continent. Quick question. What happens when Genghis Khan knocks on your city gates and you don't open? Answer: you don't eat for months, and eventually, you eat each other. Welcome to Zhongdu, the capital of the Jin dynasty, modern-day Beijing. In 1215, Genghis Khan showed up with a big army, zero chill, and a serious grudge against the Jin Empire. They had insulted his ambassadors. Big mistake. So, he parked his troops outside Zhongdu and said, "Nobody leaves, nobody eats." Classic Mongol hospitality. The siege lasted months. The city's walls were strong, but Genghis was patient and well-fed. Meanwhile, the people inside were not doing so great. First, they ate their grain reserves, then their horses, then rats. And when even the rats said, "I'm out," things got dark. Eyewitnesses' accounts say citizens began eating corpses, and when corpses ran out, well, you know what's next. Cannibalism. Yes, it became so common that parents reportedly exchanged children so they wouldn't have to eat their own. Let that sink in. After months of starvation and horror, the Jin emperor begged for peace. Genghis said, "Sure, no problem," and then burned the city down. Classic Genghis twist ending. So remember, when Genghis Khan comes knocking, maybe just open the door. How angry do you have to be to invent a whole new method of execution? Well, if you're Genghis Khan, the answer is all the way to molten silver. Let's rewind to the early 13th century. Genghis Khan was on his global visit to every city and burn it down tour. And one local governor in the Khwarezmian Empire made a very bad decision. He attacked a Mongol trade caravan. Big mistake. Huge. It's like slapping a sleeping bear with a flaming stick. Then, to make it worse, he executed the Mongol envoys that Genghis sent to negotiate. That's not just rude, that's international please invade me behavior. Genghis Khan was furious, like historically unforgivable furious. So, when he conquered the region, he captured that governor. And oh boy, he didn't just kill him. He gave him a lesson in economics. You see, this governor loved money. Gold, silver, wealth, he hoarded it like a dragon with a gambling problem. So Genghis, in one of the pettiest and most poetic executions in history, ordered that molten silver be poured into the man's eyes and ears. Literal liquid wealth, right into the sockets. Think of it as a metal crown, custom fit, for eternal regret. And if that's not dramatic enough, legend says it became one of Genghis' favorite "don't mess with me" stories to tell at Mongol dinner parties. So next time you think about betraying a Mongol trade agreement, ask yourself, do I want the deluxe silver package in my head? What happens when you chase a Mongol army for 9 days straight across scorching steppe with no rest, no supplies, and the world's best horsemen pretending they're afraid of you? You're about to star in Genghis Khan's favorite prank show. Let me take you to the year 1223, in the lands near the Kalka River, present-day Ukraine. A bunch of overconfident Russian princes thought they could stop the Mongol invasion. And sure, they had numbers, but they didn't have Mongol mind games. The Mongols, led by Subutai and Jeb, two of Genghis Khan's most genius generals, decided to play a little psychological warfare. They pretended to run away for 9 whole days. That's right, full-on sprint like, oh no, scary Russians! But here's the trick. It was all a trap. The Russians fell for it hard. They chased the Mongol deeper and deeper. While their horses dropped dead from exhaustion, their troops fell behind and their supply lines non-existent. Basically, they were playing Mongol tag on nightmare mode. Then, just as the Russians were gasping for breath and thinking, "We got him!" surprise! The Mongols turned around and attacked in full force. Organized, fresh, and perfectly timed. The result? The Russ' army was absolutely demolished. Thousands were slaughtered, and the surviving Russian princes, they were taken prisoner and given VIP seats in the ground. The Mongols laid wooden boards over their bodies and had a celebratory feast, while the princes slowly suffocated underneath. Yup, dinner on your enemies' faces. Brutal? Yes. Creative? Very. Effective? Definitely. Moral of the story? Never chase a Mongol. If they run, it's not fear. It's probably a setup for something worse. Just the rumor that Genghis Khan might be thinking about sending 100,000 horsemen towards your city. Because by the time Genghis Khan was halfway through his world tour of destruction in the early 13th century, his reputation alone was enough to make cities surrender without a single arrow fired. Let's set the stage. It's 1220. You're the governor of a nice little city along the Silk Road. Maybe Herat, maybe Nishapur. Life's good. Tea's hot. The walls are strong. Then someone runs in screaming, "He's coming! The Mongols are coming!" And you've heard the stories. Entire cities turned to ash. Rivers clogged with corpses, skull pyramids that make the pyramids of Giza jealous. And worst of all, that thing with the molten silver in the eyes. Ouch. So what do? Option A, Be brave. Defend your city with honor. Option B. Throw open the gates, roll out a red carpet, and send a fruit basket. Guess what most people picked? You see, Genghis Khan had mastered psychological warfare before it was cool. He'd spare a few survivors from a destroyed city and send them ahead to the next one, traumatized, bloodstained, and screaming, "Don't fight them! Just don't!" Sometimes, cities that did resist were wiped out so completely, the next 5 cities just surrendered out of pure panic. It was the medieval version of Yelp. 1 star, would not recommend resisting. And it worked. By 1221, entire kingdoms were collapsing in fear before the Mongols even arrived. No battle, no siege, just rumor and results.